Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again. What are y'all doing? It is time for the poem of the week. Coming to you live from Austin, Texas, where the word draw has a very different meaning. Somebody say, tell us a story, Chandler. Type it out on your screen. Show me some love. Hit the love button, it will come back to you in infinity. Don't hit the anger button. We got plenty of that in this world. How y'all doing? I can't do the fly around today because of all kinds of technical reasons, but that's just life. But we can remind you that we have our mascot. Here's Spider John. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Brew. How you doing, Blue? Don't forget, after the poem of the week, we will have your moment of spin. If you would like to support me or this broadcast, you can do so at paypal.com/baldchandler or venmo.com/The Chris Chandler Show. If you would like to be a continuing contributor, you can do so at patreon.com/The Chris Chandler Show. Thanks so much for gathering around. Here we go. Hey, Scotty.
We'd like to congratulate everybody on a successful run tonight. A great show for everybody.
Oh, what do we got? Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Hey, Scotty, Irina, thanks for gathering around. Come gather around me, people. Hope y'all are up for a poem. It is Super Bowl Sunday, but it is also the day before Valentine's Day. And I promised I'd keep these introductions short, so I will. I just want to say that Valentine's Day is a particularly tricky time for me. You may notice that I don't do, or I write a lot of romantic poetry, but I don't share it very often. And I had 3 different long-term relationships end on Valentine's Day, including my very first live-in relationship back in the high school dropout days. And also, I've had a relationship end very recently, and so Valentine's Day is difficult for me. But probably the biggest reason that Valentine's Day is difficult for me is because my mother, who was a widow for much longer than she was a bride, lingered on for a long time, and I am positive that she lingered on to die on Valentine's Day so that she could be with my father, and I'm 100% that she believed that, and I am 100% sure that neither one of them are disappointed. So with that, let me just say that Valentine's Day for me, it's like when you don't like football and it's Super Bowl Sunday. Let them curse our kaleidoscope hearts, and we'll snicker through their pastel heavens and fold our defeats into a defiant hat and search for shoes to match. And we could shoplift in the finest of thrift stores and never ask for a pardon. For the zipper of the seersucker sky is open, and God loves us so much he has a heart on. And the dream Gestapo, Gestapo, and the riot squads will be after us for this. And I always felt there was no one that I could talk about this with. You know, I fell in love with you yesterday. In the bank, we were standing in line, and that teller must have thought that I had a gun, but I was just depositing a roll of dimes. But she threw her hands up in the air, she screamed and then hit the floor, and everyone else did the same, though neither one of us knew what for. And as we lie there in the silence, unsure if there was a crime, you smiled and said you understood when I said, I feel like this all the time. And I'm glad to see that you understand why my head's about to split. And I always felt there was nobody that I could talk about this with. You know, before I knew that you felt this way, I had lived a quiet life, sleeping beneath a manhole cover, unsure of my left from my right. And in my basement workshop, drawing lines and smoking cigarettes, I built you an alternative universe. But I haven't got the bugs worked out yet. Because each time I put the finishing touches on the black holes, I think that I am done. But then time starts moving backwards, and I lose my opposable thumb. And so you see, I had no choice. I simply had to quit. And I always felt there was no one that I could talk about this with. I'm going to tell you this in the strictest of confidence, for I trust that we are friends. But I went and sat in a laundromat, and I confessed all of my sins to an understanding washer and dryer, and when the rent cycle fell, I was absolved, and a nasty gravy stain was removed as well. And an old man's rayon shirt cried out, how did it come to this? And I always felt there was no one that I could talk about this with. You too heard the rooster crow at the break of kingdom come. You rolled over and mashed the snooze button, and we slept through Armageddon. But Armageddon might prove to be a good night for you and I to go out. We could have an intimate evening. We're sure to avoid the crowds. And when everyone is raptured up to heaven, we could get good seats in the theater, they say. It's like when you don't like football and it's Super Bowl Sunday. But we'll be on call for the next apocalypse. But I think I'm going to call in sick. And I always felt there was no one that I could talk about this with. This has been your Poem of the Week. Stick around for your moment of spin. Hey, how y'all doing? That poem was written by Phil Rockstro and myself. And it was on the Collaborations record back a million years ago. I recorded it with Katie Curtis. I very much wanted to record it with her for reasons that I won't go into, but other than say that she is a fantastic artist, and I highly recommend you check out Katie Curtis as well as Phil Rockstro's other works. He is a great writer. A lot going on. The record's making progress. Thank you so much for gathering around. We will do this hopefully every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Sometimes I may have to change the time because I am supplementing my income as a poet with being a stagehand. And God knows you never know when that's going to happen. So again, if you would like to support me, paypal.com/baldchandler or Venmo, the Chris Chandler Show, and patreon.com, the Chris Chandler Show. Your moment of spin. We're only going to use one of the books today. There are 3 editions of Spin. If you've got your hymnal, give me a number between 1 and 130. Oh, Paul Trebek's just jumping right on there. 123. Open up your hymnal to page 123. Thank you, Paul Trebek. Page 123. Observations from a 24-hour laundromat. Back when I lived on the road, laundromats were great places to hang out. A lot of them were 24 hours, and it was really cold, and you could get a cool bunch of quarters because you've been playing the streets and people were throwing change in your guitar case. put those quarters in the dryer, put some duct tape and close the switch, slept on the bench in front of the dryer. To me, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and actually getting different results. There you have your moment of spin. Thank you for joining me with the poem of the week. We will see you next week.